What's up, guys? Today I got a video that is going to help a lot of people out there that really needs it, including myself. I learned this recently, and I've actually learned this for a long time, but it's really tough to practice it, especially for somebody like me. And the subject is called the power of forgiveness. So a lot of us, when we're wrong, sometimes we know we're wrong. We're like, dang, I shouldn't have said that, or I've done that person wrong. But a lot of times when this happens, we seldomly say we're sorry. Now, when this happens, we don't say we're sorry because a lot of times when we say we're sorry, we feel kind of bad. We feel like we feel bad about what it is that we did. And even though we recognize that we feel that we did something wrong, but if we don't say we're sorry, it's almost like that person doesn't look down on us. We don't feel belittled. We don't feel less than. We don't feel like we're not as good anymore. And so that really does something, because a lot of people go, I don't need to tell him I'm sorry because, he knows I'm sorry. And so we're just going to brush it under the rug. Or, you know what? That person really wasn't affected. And even though I know I could have said that thing better, or I didn't have to yell at that person or whatever the case was, but they're not really bothered. So I'm all right. Right? So we tell ourselves that and other things. So we just kind of look past it. We just go, yeah, I'm just going to let it go. But what really happens a lot of times is, instead of us being able to let things go so easily like that, we will hold on to some of these as guilt in our bodies, in our minds. We will just constantly go ahead and play it in our minds and be like, oh man, I hope that person doesn't feel something, next time I see him, because that last encounter that we had, was kind of rough. I said that, they felt bothered, we didn't say anything, we just kind of split up and just kind of, nothing just happened after that. We just kind of let it go. And so next time when you see the person, you may act like everything is cool and they don't say anything, you don't say anything, and therefore you think it's all good and that they forgot about it. But no matter if they forgot about it or not, a lot of times we haven't forgot about it. We are still in our mind playing it back, going a little worried, feeling a little uneasy because we didn't go ahead and put it out there and lay down the open. We haven't truly let it go. When we say we're sorry, when we tell people to forgive us, hey, I'm sorry for doing this, this, and this, please forgive me. That doesn't mean that we're a bad person. That actually means the opposite. That actually means that we are a bigger person. We're such a big person that we're able to be vulnerable and to have the humility to say we're sorry, because it takes a really big person to say they're sorry for the things that they made mistakes on, versus people that are scared and people that are afraid of their self-image being tainted, don't say they're sorry, don't apologize, and don't ask for forgiveness. And just assume I'm so good that I don't need to ask for it. And so by forgiving, what we're actually doing is we're allowing ourselves to let go of what we did to that person, what we did wrong to that person. Because a lot of times we don't let it go and we just keep thinking about it. And that thinking about it makes us feel guilty. Sometimes these can be something really small as, you and your girlfriend got in a fight the other day and, it was bad and she got upset, or you made her cry, or whatever the case is. But then after a couple of days, she's like, okay, she just acted like everything's okay. And we just kind of went on with our lives. And you think, oh, well, she just let it go. She's over it. That's what people say a lot of times. They're over it. But the thing is, most of the time, they're not over it. Just because they don't say that, yeah, you hurt my feelings. Yeah, I feel something from that. Yeah, you're an asshole the other day. That doesn't mean they're over it just because they decided to move on. And a lot of times they still think of it in their mind, and so do we. And so it's like, I'm thinking of this and they're thinking of this and no one's saying anything about it and everybody's just acting like it's all cool, but yet both parties are thinking about what happened. They just don't want to say anything. They just want to pretend like it's all good. But what happens is we keep thinking about these things. And whenever we think about these things that make us feel guilty, we actually feel guilty. We actually get affected. It affects us in our daily life and what we do. It affects our confidence. It affects our spirit, It affects how great and happy we feel or how unhappy we'll feel. It affects whether or not we have stress. It affects whether or not we react super quick, And so when we say we're sorry, when we ask for forgiveness, what we're doing is we're able to let go of it from our hearts. We're not saying forgiveness, and we're not saying we're sorry for them. I mean, it's good, we can do it for them and it'll help. But we're also doing it for ourselves. Because if we don't say we're sorry, if we don't forgive, and we don't ask for forgiveness, most of the time we hold on to it. And we don't even know we're holding on to it. That's the thing. We hold on to something, and over time, we just forgot about it, but it's still playing in our subconscious mind. And I was talking to a good friend of mine just earlier, and we were at lunch, and we were talking about this. And if you think about it, have you ever had something that you had to do, but you just kind of procrastinated, you know? You know there's something you got to do, but you just don't feel like doing it, and therefore, you just hold it off. But every day, you got your voice in the back of the head going, hey, you need to go do that thing. You're like, oh, right, I need to do that thing. Oh, I just don't feel like it. Next day comes along. You need to go do that thing. And you're like, ah. And this happens day after day after day. And sometimes it'll be a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or months will go by, and you still keep reminding yourself, I need to go do this thing, but you don't feel like doing it. And doing that exhausts a lot of your energy, because when we think about things, it actually drains us. The deeper we think and the more we think, the more energy it takes. And so when we got things that we need to get done that we're not doing, we keep thinking about it, that drains our energy that allows us to be able to do the things that we need to do right now, you know? And when we do wrong things to people and we feel guilty and we play this in our mind, we should not did this, we should not did this, we should not did this, or maybe we're upset. Maybe even we're just upset about something. It may not be we did them wrong, maybe they did us wrong. And this is where it goes both ways. Maybe somebody did you wrong and you didn't want to say anything. I'm just going to go ahead and let it go. But you didn't let it go. Instead, every time we see this person, you feel bad. You feel like you still hold this resentment. You feel like there's this unsettled uneasiness, you know? There's this anxiety feeling. Like it's just not the same anymore because of that thing that happened, that thing that person said. And kind of over time, you might brush it off. But even if you do, how long does it take before things get back to technically normal, you know? Sometimes weeks, months, sometimes years. Sometimes family members get into fights and stuff, and then they don't settle it. They just stop talking to each other. And then it goes on for a couple years, you know? And then afterwards, after a couple years, they go, hey, you know, I never told you, but I want to tell you that I'm sorry about what happened 3 years ago at that Christmas event, you know, when we got into each other's face and we were arguing about this and that. And, you know, honestly, that was just kind of stupid, you know, and I'm sorry that I held on to it all this time, like 3 years later, you know? And so in that scenario, I mean, how much time was wasted? How much time went by without you being able to interact with this person, having everything be cool? You know, it might take, let's say in that case, 3 years to go ahead and solve it. And once you solve it, they're like, yeah, you know, honestly, you really hurt my feelings. And suddenly everybody's able to tell the truth. But what I'm saying is we don't have to wait that long. The moment that we feel that we did something wrong and we realize it, say we're sorry right away. You know, actually, I'm sorry that I said that, you know, forgive me, man. I was wrong. I shouldn't have yelled at you. I shouldn't have said that thing. You know, that was wrong of me. Right away. Right away. You know, and if somebody does something that hurts us, we need to go and let them know right away and go, hey, actually, you know, when you said that thing just earlier, or the way you're talking to me right now, you know, it really bothers me the way you're talking to me right now. And just let them know. And it doesn't mean we have to get mad at them. We're just expressing that, hey, to let you know, I'm upset at what you're doing. I don't feel good. I don't like the way you're talking to me right now, you know? And we don't have to get mad at it, and we let them know. So this way we're able to let it go. When we let it go, we don't hold on to anger and resentment in our hearts. We don't have to burn a lot of energy, constantly think about it in our heads. And now, when we don't hold on to all of this anger and all this fear and all this resentment in our heart is able to be open. And when our heart is open, we can actually feel joy. We can feel love. You know, we can feel so much better. We have the ability to even feel. So many times when we're so angry about things, we're so resentment about things, we're guilty about things, all these things just close up our hearts. And it closes up our hearts because we don't want to feel it, you know? So instead of trying to deal with it, we just go ahead and just close it up. So this way we don't feel that pain, don't feel that suffering. But when we close up our hearts because we don't want to feel pain, we also lose our ability to feel love. We also lose our ability to feel joy. We also lose our ability to feel happy, to feel excited. So then we go around life just kind of just kind of being like a machine, you know? Nothing is bad, doesn't affect me, but nothing is good. Nothing is great. Life is just is. And that's not how to live, you know? Life is supposed to be about enjoyment. It's supposed to be about having fulfillment. It's supposed to be about exciting, you know? It's about being curious and excited about what's next. You know, we have this whole opportunity to do all this stuff, but all we have to do is being able to feel it, because life is about feeling and about experience. But when we don't let go of things and ask for forgiveness, when we hold on to all these things, we can't. So I recommend what to do today after watching this video. If you just think about in your mind, did I do something wrong to somebody? When was the last thing that I did that maybe I argued with somebody that I thought I shouldn't have? Maybe I said something that I shouldn't have. Maybe I done something wrong, or some scenario happened that I didn't go ahead and take care of. You know, I didn't go ahead and say I'm sorry. I didn't ask for forgiveness. Call up that person, go to that person's house, send them a message, you know, and just let them know, hey, you know, I'm sorry. You know, sorry for what I did, sorry for what happened, you know, and forgive me. And just do that. And I promise you, you're gonna feel so much better. You're gonna feel like this weight is lifted from you, you know, and your relationship would improve. I mean, that's what life's about, is enjoying life, having fun, and having great relationships with people that you love to be around. So, thanks for watching, guys. See y'all next time.